Section 8.5 is determining which method to use. There's only one objective here, and that is to understand which method you're going to use. Well, it's all going to hinge on what population parameter you're trying to estimate. Just for a quick recap, the measures that we're interested in are means, proportions, variances, and standard deviations. Each one of these four measures have a population parameter associated with it that we're trying to estimate with a confidence interval, and we use the sample statistics in order to estimate it. The population parameter for the mean is mu, the sample statistic is x bar. The population parameter for a proportion is p, the sample statistic is p hat. The population parameter for a variance is sigma squared, a lowercase sigma, and the sample statistic is s squared. Standard deviation is the square root of the variance, so we use sigma and s for the population parameter and sample statistics respectively. It's important that you know this terminology, especially as we get into Chapter 9. If we're finding a confidence interval for a mean, we have one of two options. Either we know the population standard deviation or we don't know it. If we know the population standard deviation, we're going to use the z-interval on our calculator. If we don't know it, we'll use the t-interval. For the population proportion, we use the 1 prop z-interval. And for the standard deviation or the variance, we use the chi-squared distribution. In order to use either the z or the t interval, we have to know that either our sample size is bigger than 30 or our original population is normally distributed. In order to use the 1 prop z interval, we have to know that n times p and n times q are greater than or equal to 10. And for the chi-squared distribution, we have to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that our data come from a normally distributed population. In case this isn't concise enough for you, below in the notes is also a flow chart that you could use for estimating the population mean. But I think I've done a good job of simplifying this right here. And that's all there is to section 8.5.